Welcome to this 3-story Victorian terrace which is being stripped and refurbished as a 7-bedroom HMO. In this video I have something very interesting for you and very different from what we talked about before, because right now we're in a little bit of a nightmare. So right now we're several weeks into this particular project. We've stripped out, we've gutted the property, we're starting to put it back together. We're at that stage where it's the first fix. However, we've faced a number of delays on this particular project. Delays, particularly with COVID, there's been delays in materials, getting hold of all the things we need. So the builder has struggled a little bit, the contractor who's doing this particular job for us. And normally with these projects, we have several of these running at any one moment in time and different building contractors working on different projects. However, as I mentioned, we've had some problems here. We've got to the point right now that unfortunately we've had to sack the builder. So why is it that we've had to sack this particular builder? Well, the issues have been primarily around the quality of this particular refurb. The quality isn't really what we would expect. It's not at the standard that we would normally have. And also there's been a number of delays, and we've tried to work with him to fix the issues, but it's got to that point where we've had to call it a day. So this particular renovation, it's a £100,000 plus renovation that's happening on this particular project. And really by now we'd expect to be much further on it. We'd expect the standard and the quality of work to be better, which I'll go around and show you in a moment some of the problems that we've had with this particular project, what's ultimately led us to this point. And I think, to be fair with the contractor as well, I think what's happened with this particular situation is that he's taken on a number of projects at the same time, spread himself a little bit thin, and he's had various teams on different places doing different sites, which is fine in theory and that works. But you still have to manage all those, and he's taken his eye off the ball on this particular project for us, which meant that we've suffered. And some of his team he lost during the COVID lockdown. He had some of his team, he had a Romanian team as well that went back to Romania to be with family, so he suffered a loss there as well. But what happened then is that he put a couple of people on this job that really didn't know what they were doing, and they were just patching their way through this particular job. So the way we run these projects is we give the whole job to one particular building contractor. Then we oversee those works. So Idas, who works with me, he oversees the projects to make sure they're on track. And in this particular one, over the last few weeks, we can see it's not been on track, and we've had a number of conversations, and the builder has promised to get it back on track. But that hasn't happened. So unfortunately, we've had to have that unpleasant conversation about, hey, look, this isn't working and we're going to have to call it a day. So let's just walk around and talk about some of the issues, and Idas will share some of the challenges that we've had with the project as well. And we've also had the quantity surveyor this morning, and I'll tell you a little bit about what he's been doing. So Idas, tell us about some of the problems that we've had at this property with the works.
So in most of the houses, we put en-suites in all the rooms. So we have to build stud work and in-house the en-suites. Now, in this particular property, we have very high ceilings, which is just under 3 meters in height.
So very tall, much taller than what we normally have,
exactly. Yeah. Yes. So the problem we have here is that the builder hasn't used enough timbers in the structure here. So the wall is quite weak, and we've actually even outlined in here. So if we push the wall, it moves quite significantly, which will cause a few issues as we go, which means now we have to take the boards off and re-strengthen the whole structure, which we will do. It's not a problem, but obviously it wasn't done right from the start.
Yes. So, and this isn't something we've just discovered today. We've seen it as we've been progressing through this particular project, and we can, you've obviously made it very clear that this needs rectifying, but it seems to have fallen on deaf ears because a lot of the things that need fixing haven't actually happened. And all these things are fixable, but it just means delays and costs, which isn't ideal. And I guess the consequences of this is, over time, right now we're not going to notice, if it's all finished off, we're really not going to notice that this hasn't been done properly. But these are the things that have a knock-on effect over time. Let's say the door slamming, we can have tiled on the inside of this ensuite room, and over time the tiles will crack, they'll fall off the wall, all because this wall wasn't really built properly. And these are the kind of things, if we're not aware of, it's very easy for us to miss during the construction stage, which is really why you're managing who should be managing the project.
And it's frustrating, as obviously these things have been pointed out to the builder from the offset, and he was obviously promising us to rectify them. But as we're here weeks down the line, it's still the same thing, isn't it?
Well, let's go and look at some of the other problems. So IDAS, we've had the windows just recently fitted. They're beautiful slate grey on the outside, nice and white on the inside. They look great, but what are some of the issues that we've had?
So for example, in this case, obviously the windows guys came in and fitted the windows in, but we haven't actually had the brickwork sorted properly, and none of the support has, by the looks of it, have been in place for the windows. So we can see they've actually even put screws under. Right. They're not actually going anywhere. So that's the problem.
So the window's actually not sitting on anything at all.
Hanging at the moment, isn't it? Right. Which isn't great, but we can fix it. So when we're looking at it and investigating it a bit further, obviously when we pull this board back, we can see that the brickwork has been very loose and hasn't been repointed and restructured. So in this case, we'll have to put extra support timbers, re-brick it, and actually probably take out this side of the window to reposition it back in place.
Yes. And I guess the window guys came in to do what they were instructed to do, is come and fit the windows. And the guys that were working beforehand who were boarding, they were instructed to board. So they've actually done their job. The window guys come and just put the windows in the gap that's supposed to be there and just screwed it into, well, what looks like nothing. And the guys that were here to do the boarding, they've just boarded over. But this is where there's been, I guess, a lack of responsibility with the builder, where he should have been checking that the work is ready to proceed to the next stage. Exactly. So as you said, this brickwork should have been checked, ready, completed, make sure it's solid, before it's boarded over and before the window guys came out.
Yeah. In that case, we've avoided these issues, but it's now going to have to be rectified.
Yeah, so now it's a case of, again, these are things we're just going to have to redo.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's look at some other issues. So IDAS, whilst we're on the issue of windows, what's the problem we've got here?
Right, so it's actually quite an obvious issue. So the builder has designed and measured this window incorrectly to start with. Okay. They haven't taken into account that the wall is going to be passing here, right, which now obviously once we extend the plaster board is going to be hitting the glass window.
Yes.
Not to take that into account as well, they have designed this window opening outwards here, which is hitting the gutter.
Okay. So, really, so actually the windows is of not much use. Yes. We can't really do much with this window, and it's certainly not going to work as a fire escape, that's for sure.
Certainly, yeah. So this was meant to be on this side and the top opening on this side, so it's been reverse designed. Okay. So in this case, we'll have to get a new window fitted.
And I guess it all comes back down to poor planning again. It's one of those things where and I know when the window guys came to measure up, you spent time with them working all the layouts and everything, but for some reason they still chose to ignore that and just turn up with the designs that they've decided to make, as opposed to ones they were asked to make.
And the strange thing is they actually went and fitted it to start off with.
Yeah, even though we told them this one doesn't work, they still fitted it anyway. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, good. So let's go and talk about some of the other issues. So IDAS, I know we've pretty much boarded the whole house now. In fact, I know we've boarded the whole house, and we were just about started the skimming before we told the builder to stop. And we're picking up some of these issues now around the boarding and quality of work.
So we do revisit obviously the houses on a regular basis, and we have pointed out to the builders that some of the boards, like for example this one, it's not quite well stuck, and obviously we have been marking on the walls where they need to rectify, but even now if we look at it, it still hasn't been fixed, so, which is a bit quite frustrating, because obviously that's a number of areas around the house you have to rectify now.
Yeah. So you've gone round, you've said, as you've spotted things, you say, look, this isn't right, we need to look at this, you've marked it up. When you've come back, they're still not rectified, you're pointing things out again. And I know you also had a number of issues with lighting.
So actually with this, we've got spotlights in the whole house, in all the rooms, and we've got quite specific requirements where we want them located. The issue we had was that they were struggling to put them in straight lines. So we had to come back a number of times and mark up the ceilings and say, move this light 2 inches or an inch this way.
It's just to make it aesthetically look
exactly,
nice as well, so it's all lined up straight. And I know you even left them a laser light to say, look, use this, so you can try and line it up straight, but we still haven't got the lights 100% correct.
Still a few lights we'll need to adjust anyway now. Most of them are.
Well, look, you know, it's all these things are not insurmountable. We're going to get it fixed. It's still going to be a beautiful house when it's finished. It's going to be amazing. It's just unfortunate we're having some of these challenges right now. So I know you've got to shoot up back at the office right now, and last week's vlog we mentioned something about we're going to share. So we'll pick up that when I see you back in the office in a short while. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to carry on and just a couple of things I want to share on the video.
Sounds good. I'll see you soon.
So some of the issues that we're having here is really the builder's lack of attention to detail and just neglecting these things that cause some of the problems. So for example, you know, we've got the scaffolding out here, but just really by not being careful, it means they've ended up damaging the tiles, which has ended up creating more cost as well. And I think, to be fair, the problem started to arise when the building contractor took on a number of other jobs and spread himself a little bit too thin and really wasn't able to produce the results. And I mentioned it's somebody we worked with before, and we've not had the issues on the previous project that we were doing, so we were expecting this one to run smoothly as well. The great news is we've got a number of building contractors that we work with, so we'll have another contract on here within a few days. We're getting the costing figures analysed and sorted out right now. It means we'll be able to jump onto it and carry on. It might take us a little bit longer, but it's still going to be a fantastic house once it's finished. And you know, when we're working with builders and picking building contractors to work with, it's really important. I think the relationship side is important, but even then things can still go wrong. It's just, this is a classic example. You know, it's a relationship with an established builder we worked with before, but things are still sometimes can go wrong. So it's important that we don't abdicate our responsibility as well and make sure we're there. And as mentioned, IDAS was here fairly regularly at this project, keeping an eye on what's happening along with the other projects as well, and we can see what's going on. The other fortunate thing is that we have the advantage, because we're running several projects with different building contractors, we can always run something past another contractor and say, hey, look, we're doing this here. What are your thoughts? Do you think that's okay? We should be doing differently? Because, you know, we're not building contractors. That's not what we do. We take these properties, we renovate them into fantastic homes, whether they're HMOs, whether they're as family homes. So we don't have the experience of the building contractor. We have the experience of managing the contractors to make sure that we get the results that we want. So let's go and talk about how we're going to fix the problems going forward from here. So this particular room, what we've done, we've raised the ceiling and we've got a fantastic Velux window fitted here. But unfortunately, they haven't fitted the window properly, which means we're going to have to strip that part down and refit it correctly. Let me show you it from a different angle. So right now we're in the loft conversion. This is the rear dormer. It's a nice large space that's being created here. We've got the ensuite room just here, a fitted wardrobe, just here. And from here we can see down onto the roof of the room that we were just in, that's had the Velux window fitted in. And as you can see, it still needs a little bit of work and tidying up and finishing off. It's a pity, although it's a new roof, he's used some of the old tiles to finish the job off just to save a little bit of money. But really it's a saving of probably about £100. Again, that's something we'll strip out and we'll fit new tiles in to make sure we finish the roof off so it looks great. So look, these are some of the challenges that we've had with this particular project. So how are we wrapping up this contract? So we've got a contract with a builder at the moment that's doing a job, as I said, it's in excess of £100,000 to do this renovation. And because we've had these problems, we're now at a point where we've stopped and I've asked them to stop work on it and taken them off the job. But what we would do in terms of how do we assess what we've already paid him? Do we pay him some more money? Does he owe us some money back? How do we calculate these things in an amicable way? So what we do, we have a quantity surveyor that comes in who was here just this morning with IDAS. I went around the project to see and assess a couple of things. One is the quality of work that's being done or what needs to be rectified in terms of problem, and also the amount of work that's being done. So there'll be a calculation for the amount of work that's being done, then there'll be a deduction made from the rectification things that we need to do, and also a calculation of how much we need to spend to finish the project. And of course that will then put us in a position to be able to give the rest of the job to one of our other building contractors for them to finish the job off. So look, sometimes you know, these things happen. Property investing is not a bed of roses. You have the challenges, and one of the purposes of me doing these vlogs is to show you the real side of property investing and developing, the issues and challenges we have, and also how we fix and resolve them as well. You know, this isn't the end of the world. Yes, we've had a few issues with this, but we're going to get it rectified. We'll have it back back on track, and it's going to be a fantastic looking project. We'll come back to this again in a few weeks time. I'll show you as we're progressing on it, and the end results I'll show you will be fantastic as well. If you're finding these vlogs useful, please hit the like button, let me know that you're liking them, and subscribe to the channel as well so that you get notifications, or in fact hit the notification bell to get notified when I release the next video, so you can see them as and when they are released. Hopefully you're finding these, as I said, useful. You're learning from them as well. If there's anything else you'd like to see me cover in the vlogs, let me know. What we're going to do right now is head off back to the office. We'll meet up with Idas and we'll talk about something we mentioned at the end of the last vlog. Just spotted something interesting that I thought I'd share with you. If you just pan across around the back, we're in the loft at the moment, the loft room. That's the neighbour's garden, and as you can see, they've got an interesting building at the end of the garden. I mean, I'll leave you to work out what it might be used for, but it does have 2 doors, some letterboxes, a little window to the side there that looks like it could be a bathroom window. It's got some drainage and drain pipes there as well, and you know, I'm not saying what it's used for. I mean, I've no idea, but I'll leave you to work that out. It may just be a storeroom, but it's just interesting how some people utilize space in the end of the garden. So welcome back. We're at one of our office suites right now. So tell me, Idas, what we're doing here.
Well, obviously we're doing some works here. We're not quite finished as much as we want to do. We have been having some issues with getting multi-finish. Unfortunately, it's been tough. But this is going to be an exciting space we're creating. And this is where we wanted to do the big reveal.
Yes.
What we discussed last week.
Yeah, we talked about the end of the vlog last week. We mentioned that we've got some exciting work on that we want to share with you, and we're going to reveal in this vlog. But unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer because it's not quite finished and it's relevant to this space. So what we're going to be doing is sharing the big reveal with you in the next vlog. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all be ready. And look, we hope you're enjoying these vlogs. We hope you're getting the best out of them as much as we're putting into them. If you're enjoying them, please hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're aware when videos are being released. Give us your feedback, put it in the comments below as well. Let us know what else you want to see, and we look forward to seeing you on the next vlog.
See you soon.